Hey everyone, thank you for joining me. I remember that I had still one video remaining in the CISO Focus series. Um, so let's get on with it. So today's topic, or today's thought, and sorry, I would say today's topic that a CISO would need to focus at the last in the series, not necessarily the last in all the thoughts and all the things that a CISO would need to focus on. So the last topic in the series is cyber insurance. Now, why is that important? I would say if this was 10 years ago, this video wouldn't be made because data breaches were only limited to the big companies, and this wasn't a feasible business. Now it is, and now data is being leaked. Um, Companies are getting breached, hacked, everything possible, and hence the topic of cyber insurance is very, very important now because you need to have some sort of backing, at least financially, to compensate you for the loss that you would have to bear due to these breaches and leaks and hacks and any other things, any other kind of downtime as well. So you need to be compensated, and the best thing to do is to transfer this risk to an insurance company and pay the premium for this kind of a backing and this kind of a protection. I would say backup protection, not necessarily preventing these attacks and preventing these thefts and stuff. So, what's important when you talk about cyber insurance? The first thing is what, and the what entails or consists of the things of what are the things that your cyber insurance will cover. What's the coverage? Is it covering all the things in your organization and everything that you're supposed to protect? Of course, that might be very expensive, but you know what I'm saying. You need to understand what is being covered. You do not assume something is being covered. It has to be explicit and defined in your policy of what kind of things are being covered, and is that everything you want to protect? Is something else that you want to protect that's not in the policy? So basically, be very, very clear about the coverage of your cyber insurance policy. The second thing that you would need to look at when you're looking at this policy is how much does your insurance cover or your policy cover. So what's the level of coverage? So for example, imagine you have a new car, $50,000. You are being covered for that one car only and not the other cars in your household, and you're being covered for, let's say, 50,000. Yeah, the amount of the car. If you were doing this 10 years later, you would be covered for maybe 20,000. That's not the full 50,000. You're being covered for 20,000. You could go for more, but again, that's a different topic. But let's say you're going for 20,000, you would not get more than 20,000. So that's your level of coverage. It's not going to be 50,000. It's not going to be 100,000. It's going to be 20,000. And so you need to know what is your coverage and what's the level of your coverage. The third thing is, because of these first 2 points, the third thing is very important because now the cost, that's number three, the cost of your cyber insurance will be an outcome of the first two things, which is what the coverage is and what level of coverage that you're having. So if you're in an organization that's regulated or subject to standards and regulations, you might need to go for that kind of an insurance which has that minimum coverage at least and that level of coverage. You could insure and you could expand that, but you need to have a minimum coverage for some things in your organization because you're subject to regulations. If you're not, then this cost is very, very important to you. If you're a small retail business and you have just 10 stores, for example, you might not be overly concerned with the regulations. Some of it might still apply to you. Let's say you're running 10 print shops. You The level of coverage that you would need is not as much as a chain of hospitals that deals with the healthcare data. So that cost will vary, and that cost will be an important factor and should be a thought for a CISO. The fourth thing that you would need to remember when you're doing a cyber insurance is always to remember that this is just an insurance. It is not your excuse to not do the other things in your organization. So it does not mean that if you have a cyber insurance, does not mean that you do not do any other things and you just say, oh, we have cyber insurance. That is never an excuse. In fact, if you do not do your due diligence in your organization, protecting your organization at a certain level, the cyber insurance won't kick in. You would not get that money in case anything happens to your organization because you did not do your due diligence. You, the CISO, did not do your due diligence. So, cyber insurance is not an excuse. It's not your full risk management strategy. It's only one small part of it. Remember that outside of those things, you still have to take care of other risks of your organization and manage them appropriately. Number five is that the first four topics will only uh, will need to have a person who leads it to fruition, and that person is you, my dear CISO. You are the one to lead the efforts of a cybersecurity insurance policy. So you need to be the one to gather the data, analyze it, work with your stakeholders, your CFO, the finance department, your GC, general counsel, any other organizations, teams in your organization, like risk management, for example, they need to be there. Your CEO, of course, needs to be there. So the yes, working this with the stakeholder is your responsibility because you'll be the one leading the overall effort and you'll be the one accountable for the coverage, the level, the cost, etc., working with it for the organization. So you play a very important role in this process of getting a cyber insurance policy. So those are the five things I want to talk about today about a cyber insurance policy. Do you have one? If you're watching this video and you are a CISO, or even if you're not a CISO, if you have a cyber insurance policy, or if you have experience getting a cyber insurance policy, or if you have experience dealing with cyber insurance companies, um, um, getting money or other things, putting your policy in operation, let me know what your experience was. Let me know if I missed out anything. If you want to add something, let me know in the comment section below because this is very important in today's day and world. You need to keep yourself protected and compensated in cases of loss due to any cyber incidents. All right, so that was the series. That was the last video in the series. That was the series, but I'll continue posting videos, hopefully of value to you, and you let me know your experience and your comments and your feedback, everything in the comment section below. All right, so have a good day and have a good week and stay protected. Bye.